Okay, so we are looking at the text of Confession of Downfalls. It is known as the Sutra of the Three Heaps, and we have reached the point of discussing the benefits of each one, of relying on each one of the 35 Buddhas. These particular benefits are actually scattered all over. It's not that we have the full list in one particular text or in this sutra. Some are mentioned in the sutra, but mostly we find this information in the personal instructions of previous lamas. Okay, we continue. We have covered up to number 7, the Tathagata jewel fire, and we continue with number 8. Okay, so we continue with number 8, the Tathagata jewel moonlight. The color of the body is white. His right hand is in the mudra of touching the earth, and the left is in the mudra of meditative equipoise. We have actually indicated those mudras before, and you will see that many Tathagatas in this list have similar appearance or similar mudras, so we're not going to elaborate again. This particular Tathagata purifies negative karma of 1 eon. Number 9, the Tathagata meaningful to see, is green in color. The right hand is extended in the mudra of giving refuge, and the left hand at the heart in the mudra of expounding Dharma. It purifies negativities and downfalls of disparaging Arya beings. So disparaging Arya beings here refers to accusing them of doing things that they have not actually done, which is something very negative. Okay, we'll continue with number 10, the Tathagata jewel moon. He's white. The hands are in the mudra of expounding Dharma. Rinpoche demonstrated the mudra. This Tathagata purifies negativities and downfalls of killing one's mother. So we will see here that the group of, we have a group of 5 Tathagatas. Each one of them purifies one of the negativities of the 5 deeds of immediate retribution that are extremely heavy actions. So the first one is killing one's mother. The next one, number 11, is the Tathagata stainless, dark blue, hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise, purifies negativities and downfalls of killing one's father. Number 12, the Tathagata bestowing courage, is yellow, in the hands in the mudra of expounding Dharma, purifies negativities and downfalls of killing arhats. 13, the Tathagata purity, yellow, right hand in the mudra of touching the earth, left hand in the mudra of meditative equipoise, like our teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. It purifies negativities and downfalls of creating a schism in the Sangha. Number 14, the Tathagata bestowing purity, is red with hands in the mudra of expounding Dharma and purifies negativities and downfalls of maliciously drawing blood from the Buddha's body. So this group of 5 associated with purifying the 5 heinous crimes. So we talk about those 5 extremely heavy negative actions. They are called the actions of immediate retribution. Sometimes we translate it as the 5 heinous crimes and so forth. There are different ways to explain what immediate retribution means. One of the main explanations of this term is that the negativity is extremely heavy, and as soon as you commit this negativity, an incredibly heavy amount of suffering befalls you. You fall into the hells, and there is no way of protecting your life. So it's something extremely negative, and you feel the result, extremely heavy results from that. The first one, killing one's mother or killing one's father, committing any of these 2 types of activities is considered to be extremely heavy due to the great kindness of our parents towards us. The next one is killing an arhat is considered very heavy because an arhat has a great amount of qualities. So you're killing someone with many qualities. The next one is creating a schism in the Sangha. So here we need to understand properly the technical term Sangha. When you have one single ordained person, this is called, let's say, a monk, one monk, an individual who is a monk. It's just one person. To have a sangha, you must have a group of 4 and above. So creating a schism in the sangha, it means that you have a group of 4 ordained people on one side and another group of 4 people on the other side. And by intervening with devious means and various ways, you cause these 2 groups to become hostile to each other. And when this happens, it creates extremely heavy karma, and it have consequences for the whole area. For example, if something like this happens in the monastery and a group, 2 different groups of monks are separated and become hostile to each other, it is said that this affects every practitioner in the area where this monastery is established. No matter how hard these people practice, they will see no improvement in their mind. So this indicates how heavy the negativity is. The last one is maliciously drawing the blood from the Buddha's body. So in this case, we're talking about the case of the Buddha having come into this world as in the aspect of a human, such as the supreme emanation body, and someone is trying to extract blood from the body of the Buddha. But it's not just causing the Buddha to bleed. As it says here, it's done with malicious intent. So ultimately, the plan is to kill the Buddha, right? So if you cause the Buddha to bleed whilst you have the intention or the plan to kill the Buddha, this becomes extremely heavy action. Okay, so to elaborate a bit more about these actions, and in particular the last one of causing, the last 2, causing a schism in the Sangha and with malicious intent causing the Buddha to bleed, we can recall a verse that Rinpoche mentioned at the very first session that we have. Is a verse from the Golden Garland. And it says that the question is asked of the Buddha, if confessed, is negativity purified? And the answer is yes, it is purified. And then it gives the names of 4 people, such as Angulimala and Doden and Gao and so forth, who committed very heavy actions. However, later they confessed, they purified, and they progress along the path, attain the state of arhats, and so forth. And once we were talking about this, we were talking about one of the 4 was a prince who killed his father. His father was the king, and the prince was very impatient to become king himself. So he conspired, he made a plan to kill his father. And his companion who helped him make the plan was Devadatta. And this Devadatta is the Devadatta that appears in the life of the Buddha. He was actually the cousin of the Buddha. Devadatta's father and our teacher's father, Prince Siddhartha's father, they were brothers from the same parents. And therefore, both of them had when they inherited the kingdom, both of them, they had a portion of, let's say, the power that comes, the dominion that comes over the country. However, since they both had male descendants, one had Devadatta as the son, the other one had Prince Siddhartha as the son. Eventually, Prince Siddhartha was the senior, and because he was the senior, he was the one who was appointed as being the future king who would inherit the power over the entire kingdom. And therefore, Devadatta knew this from a very young age. And from a very young age, he was extremely jealous for the Buddha because he knew that in the future, it was Buddha who would become the king. He would not become the king. And whilst before our teacher Buddha Shakyamuni became ordained, whilst he lived the life of a prince, and as we say, he trained in different sports, and he got married, he enjoyed his life, and so forth. In all of these activities, he excelled. He did very well, and in every occasion, that gave an opportunity for Devadatta to be even more jealous. He had more opportunities to become jealous towards the Buddha. Anyway, Prince Siddhartha at that time. Anyway, he became ordained, he reached a state of enlightenment, and he began giving teachings. And the faithful people started gathering at large numbers to listen to the teachings of Buddha Shakyamuni. And that again ignited the jealousy of Devadatta. It's like, why? Why is he so famous? Why is he so popular? He has become a Buddha. I want to be like him. So the jealousy was there, continued, no matter, through their whole life. And at this point, Devadatta himself started teaching perverse dharma, wrong dharma. And through these teachings that he gave that were false teachings, he actually caused part of the Sangha to separate. And instead of following Buddha Shakyamuni, they started following Devadatta. So this is the first occasion that we have, is a recorded occasion of creating a schism in the Sangha. And that was a very painful event. It was very difficult. However, through many efforts, eventually there was reconciliation of that schism, and the Sangha again united as one. So once again, Devadatta was boiling with anger and jealousy towards the Buddha. His plan to divide the Sangha had failed, and now he was looking for a new way to harm the Buddha. So now, eventually, he said, that's it, I have to kill him. We have an account of his attempt to kill Buddha Shakyamuni. And there's a slight difference, the way that the account is recorded in the Pali Canon and the way that it is recorded in the Vinaya. So according to the Pali Canon, the account is that when the Buddha was walking in Rajgir, and he was like not at the top, but he was like at the bottom of that hill, Devadatta was at the top, and Devadatta himself pushed a big boulder to kill the Buddha. So this is one account according to the Pali Canon. However, according to the Vinaya, Devadatta himself did not push with his hands the boulder, but instead he used a device. You know how we have like a catapult to throw stones? Right? So it was like he used one of those catapults to throw long way, to reach the Buddha. In any case, the account is that the rock or the boulder came crashing close to the body of Buddha Shakyamuni, and it caused a small cut into Buddha Shakyamuni's foot. All right. So these are accounts that actually took place at the time of the historical Buddha. When we hear about those things, you can, of course, we're thinking in this life, in my life, it is very difficult for me to engage those heinous crimes, those 5 uninterrupted crimes. However, in our past lives, we have engaged in similar activities, and therefore we have to be aware that this type of negativity must be purified. That's okay. Then we also have to look at the negative actions that are not the 5 heinous crimes, but are similar or close to the 5 heinous crimes. So pay attention to the next 5 items in the list. We have the Tathagata water god, his white hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise. He purifies negativities and downfalls of criticizing arhats. Arhats, in particular, if your mother is an arhat. So criticizing your mother who is an arhat. Okay. Number 16, the Tathagata deity of water gods, white hands in the mudra of expounding Dharma, purifies negativities and downfalls of killing bodhisattvas of definite lineage. Here the expression definite lineage indicates bodhisattvas who have newly generated bodhicitta. There is a different explanation according to Abhidharma and other texts of this term. Number 17, the Tathagata, glorious goodness, yellow, right hand extended in the mudra of giving refuge, left hand at heart in the mudra of expounding Dharma. It purifies negativities and downfalls of killing spiritual masters. Number 18, the Tathagata, glorious sandalwood, white, right hand in the mudra of touching the earth, left in the mudra of meditative equipoise. It purifies negativities and downfalls of blocking Sangha gatherings. So blocking Sangha gatherings, as if, the Sangha is about to gather and you expel them from a particular location, or you don't allow them to gather. And perhaps you say, oh, you can come here perhaps tomorrow. When they come back tomorrow to gather, again, you dispel the gathering and so forth. Number 19, the Tathagata infinite magnificence is red with hands in the mudra of expounding the Dharma and purifies negativities and downfalls of destroying stupas. There is the activity of destroying, breaking down the stupa, demolishing a stupa. Next, we have the Tathagata glorious light, dark blue, hands in the mudra of expounding the Dharma, purifies negativities and downfalls accumulated through hatred. 21, the Tathagata glorious without sorrow, pale red, hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise, purifies negativities and downfalls accumulated through attachment. Number 22, the Tathagata son of non-craving, yellow, hands in the mudra of expounding Dharma, purifies negativities and downfalls of 10,000 eons. 23, the Tathagata glorious flower, yellow, right hand extended in the mudra of giving refuge, left hand at heart in the mudra of expounding the Dharma, purifies negativities and downfalls of 100,000 eons. Number 24, the Tathagata clearly knowing through the play of pure light rays is yellow, right hand in the mudra of touching the earth, left in the mudra of meditative equipoise, like our teacher, Buddha Shakyamuni. It purifies negativities and downfalls of 1,000 eons. Number 25, the Tathagata clearly knowing through the play of lotus light rays is red, right hand in the mudra of touching the earth, left in the mudra of meditative equipoise, purifies negativities and downfalls of 7 eons. Number 26, the Tathagata glorious wealth, dark blue, hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise, purifies negativities and downfalls accumulated through imprints. Those imprints, negative imprints, cause us to engage in negative actions. Number 27, the Tathagata glorious mindfulness is yellow, hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise, and purifies negativities and downfalls of the body. We have negativities of body, speech, and mind. So this one is about negativities of the body. Okay, so we're going to complete the list. We're number 28, the Tathagata widely renowned glorious name. He is white with the right hand in the mudra of expounding Dharma and the left in the mudra of meditative equipoise. He purifies negativities and downfalls of not rejoicing in Buddha's appearance, meaning we don't rejoice in the fact that the Buddha comes into this world, that the Buddha gives teachings, and also we do not rejoice in other people liking the Buddha's teachings. Number 29, the Tathagata king of the victory banner that crowns over those with power. His dark blue, right hand holding a victory banner, left in the mudra of meditative equipoise. Actually, we will see here that we have 3 Tathagatas that hold hand implements. The other Buddhas do not have hand implements. Their hands are in different mudras. But this one, in his right hand, he's holding a victory banner. He purifies negativities and downfalls of jealousy. Number 30, the Tathagata glorious in fully subduing is dark blue, right hand holding a sword at the heart. So again, another Tathagata with a hand implement, left in the mudra of meditative equipoise. Purifies negativities and downfalls of causing others to commit negative actions. So causing others to tell lies, causing others to engage in stealing or killing somebody else and so forth. Number 31, the Tathagata, utterly victorious in battle, is dark blue with two hands holding a yellow armor. So again, this is considered to be a hand implement. So with his two hands, he's holding an armor. And armor used to be part of the protection of the body in the past. It purifies negativities and downfalls caused by pride. Number 32, the Tathagata glorious transcendence of subduing is dark blue with two hands in the mudra of pressing down the earth. In the case of Buddha Shakyamuni, the right hand is pressing the earth. This Tathagata is pressing the earth. Both hands are pressing the earth, and purifies negativities and downfalls caused by divisive speech. Divisive speech refers to the type of talk that can cause disharmony amongst people who up to this point were quite friendly with each other. Or it can, if there is some misunderstanding, your divisive speech might cause the rift or the distance between these people or these groups of people to become even bigger, even more serious. So this is divisive speech. Number 23, the Tathagata glorious array illuminating all is red, right hand in the mudra of giving refuge, left hand in the mudra of meditative equipoise, purifies negativities and downfalls of rejoicing in others' negative actions. So we have to be very careful here in what we rejoice. So, for example, if someone is giving teachings and we rejoice in that, that is a positive action. But if someone does something negative and we rejoice in that accomplishment of negativity, then definitely this becomes a negative action. Okay, rejoicing. Okay, number 34. The Tathagata subduing jewel lotus is orange, right hand in the mudra of giving refuge, left hand in the mudra of meditative equipoise. It purifies negativities and downfalls of abandoning the holy Dharma. Abandoning the holy Dharma does not just refer to totally abandoning, turning your back and say, I will not practice Dharma. It also refers to having no respect for the Dharma, or even within our own ranks, if we start differentiating and saying, oh, this teacher is very good, this other teacher is not good at all, then this is committing the act of abandoning Dharma. The last one, number 35, the Tathagata, king of the Lord of Mountains, firmly seated on jewel and lotus, is yellow, with two hands in the mudra of meditative equipoise, and there is a little mountain that is resting upon his mudra of meditative equipoise. Purifies negativities and downfalls of breaking commitments. These are commitments that we receive when we receive an initiation. So after the initiation, we have a number of vows and commitments. And by breaking these commitments, we actually create a lot of negativity. So we mentioned the first day that there are three different ways in which we can do the practice, three different ways in which we can recite the Sutra of the Confession of Downfalls. The first of these ways was to begin from beginning to end and just recite the entire sutra. When you're doing this, you go through the names of the Tathagatas in quick succession. And when you do this, it's very difficult to actually remember the different colors, the different mudras, and in particular, it's very difficult to remember the benefits of each one of these Tathagatas. And therefore, it is more beneficial if you decide that, let's say today, I will focus on one specific of those 35. Let's say I'm focusing on the Tathagata Jewel Fire. So I will if I focus on this one, this gives me the time to really think about the color, the hand gestures, the posture, and the specific benefits. What does this Tathagata purify? And just as we do when we do the purification through meditation and recitation of Vajrasattva, it is very important whilst you're doing the practice to be thinking, I'm now purifying negativity. And at the end of the practice, to have that conviction, to have this assurance that my negativity has been purified. So similarly here, whoever is the Buddha on which you are focusing, whilst you're doing the practice, you should be thinking, I'm purifying this particular negativity. And at the end, you think, I have purified this negativity. If you can remember the specific benefit, like which specific negativity it purifies, is very good. But even if you cannot remember this, in general, to be thinking, I purified my negativity, whatever it was. I purified the negativity. I've done it. I have been successful in that. Even that is very important. Another way that you could approach the practice is that if you identify a particular fault in you, so let's say you see that you have a problem with negativity created through physical activities, go through the list and identify who is the Buddha that is specifically associated with purifying negativities of the body, and then focus on this one. If your problem is jealousy, find in this list who is the Tathagata that helps you purify negativity of jealousy, and then really put extra effort and accumulate maybe extra numbers, do extra recitations with that particular Buddha. Now, we have to understand that all the Buddhas are equal in terms of abandonment, of realization, of affection that they have for living beings. However, it seems that we always refer to the Buddhas, say, oh, if I do the puja or if I do the prayers to the medicine Buddha is the one that will help me protect me from sickness. Or if I do practices for long life deities, this is the one that will give me long life. So we seem to attribute specific benefits, although we say that all the Buddhas have equal qualities. And this is the result of the specific prayers and the special mind generation of bodhicitta that these beings initially did earlier on in their practice. So when they started practicing, they generated bodhicitta. They usually make specific prayers, like in the future, when I become a Buddha, I want to free everyone from sickness, let's say, right? So when they do become Buddhas, they have this special power. And this is why each one of these Buddhas has a specific benefit. If you can't remember the specific benefit, this is excellent. But even if you cannot, just in general think, my negativity has been purified. So that is sufficient. Okay, so now Rinpoche actually started reading the Mahayana Sutra of the Three Heaps, the Bodhisattva's Confession of Downfalls. And this reading comes together with explanation. So it's a transmission, it's the Ling of the text along with some explanation. We begin with, if you can look at your text, it says, homage to the confession of Bodhisattva's downfalls. And then you say your name. Always go for refuge to the Guru, go for refuge to the Buddha, go for refuge to the Dharma, go for refuge to the Sangha. So in the beginning, we say we have explained why it is very important to understand this method of how the Bodhisattvas confess any of their downfalls, and we pay homage to this. Following that, we make a personal statement. We make a personal statement mentioning our name. And this is important. This reflects a situation where, let's say, you want to make a statement and you consider this statement to be an important statement. It's like you're giving your opinion about something very important, or you're giving advice to someone about something very important. And you begin by saying, I'm going to use my name here as an example. I, Vula, tell you such and such. If I make a statement like this indicates that this is very important to me. I take this very seriously. So here we want to indicate that we take very seriously this confession of negativity. Following that, we say, I go for refuge to the Buddha, go for refuge to the Dharma, go for refuge to, always go for refuge to the Guru, sorry, at the beginning, then go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. We have explained how refuge and bodhicitta is the first of the opponent powers, the power of reliance. Following this, we have the recitation of the names of the 35 Buddhas, and Rinpoche very quickly read through those because we have just gone through the explanation of the attributes of each one of those. So we have come to the point of saying to the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly completed Buddha, King of the Lord of the Mountains, firmly seated on jewels and lotus, I prostrate. Up to here we have explained. And then we have the next paragraph, to all of you, 35 Buddhas and others, as many Tathagatas and so forth. This remains to be explained. Okay, so when we go through the section where we recite the names of the 35 confessional Buddhas, this is the power of fully applying the antidote. And in this case, the antidote is reciting the names of the Tathagatas. From the section that begins with the paragraph, all of you, 35 Buddhas and others, we rely on the power of repudiation, which is where we generate regret. It begins by saying all of you, and all of you here refers to the 35 Buddhas because in front of us we have visualized the 35 Buddhas. And others means not just the 35 Buddhas, but however many Buddhas exist in the world. So it says, as many Tathagatas, Arhats, perfectly completed Buddhas, Bhagavans are proclaimed to exist, abide, and sustain in all worldly realms of the 10 directions. So in other words, to all the Buddhas that exist throughout the world, to all of you Buddha Bhagavans, please listen to me. So please listen to me, again, is a particular expression. It's a way of drawing attention to you because you have to say something very important to them. So you're requesting for their attention. You're requesting them to please listen to you because you have an important confession to make. So we say, please listen to me. And this is, as we say, the power of repudiation, because we will be regretting, disclosing and regretting negativity we have done. In this life and in all samsaric birthplaces in samsara, through beginningless and endless rebirths. So not just negativity I have performed in this life, but in the previous life and the life before this. In all my endless rebirth, everywhere I took rebirth in samsara, whatever negative actions I have done personally, whatever negative actions I encouraged others to do, I made others to do, and rejoiced in the negative actions of others, thinking that this was a good thing. So as you see here, we mention negativity, but we mention it in a collective, general way, because we're not specific about this and that negativity. We say, whatever negativity I have done. And then it continues, as well as having plundered, having made others plunder, or rejoicing in the plundering of possessions of stupas, possessions of the Sangha, possessions of the Sangha of the 10 directions. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the verb plunder. What does it mean to plunder? Plunder means you take without having permission. So plundering is not the same as stealing. Still, you enjoy without having the permission of taking this particular, using these particular substances. In particular here, we talk about offerings that have been made towards the Buddhas, towards the stupas, towards the Sangha. And when particular provisions or material or food and so forth is offered to the Sangha, To take of these materials and use them for yourself without permission is actually what is described by the term plundering. It's considered to be a negative action. So also, just to clarify here, where it says plundering the possessions of stupa. Stupa is just one of the ways that we translate the particular term that we have here. It's a more generic term that means object of offering, object of veneration. The stupa is an object of veneration, and so is the Buddha, and so is the Sangha. So oneself plundering possessions or offerings made to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, to the Sangha, to the community, and so forth, or causing others to do this, or rejoicing in that. Then the next paragraph, having committed the 5 deeds of immediate retribution, we explain those, having made others to commit them, or rejoicing in them being committed. The next paragraph, fully engaging and in fully taking any parts of the 10 virtuous actions, having made others to engage or rejoicing in them being engaged. Okay, where it says fully taking any parts of the 10 virtuous actions, are we to understand this that it refers to engaging in all 10 non-virtuous actions? Is this what it means? No, it is not that. What it means is that you engage, let's say, in one of those negative actions, let's say the act of killing, but you do it in a complete way, meaning you have the intention, the premeditation, then engaging in the actual activity, completing the activity, rejoicing in the activity, and so forth. So this is what it means complete in terms of each one of those 10 non-virtuous actions. So either I have made them, or encouraged others to do, or rejoice that others did them, thinking that that was good that it happened. All right, so as you can see here, we have a number of different types of negativities that are enumerated there. And the main thing is the reason why we bring all these things up, because we want to generate regret for these different types of negativities. We begin this section by addressing all the Buddhas that exist in all worldly realms in the 10 directions, and we say, please listen to me. So we request their attention and we say, please listen to me. I have done negativity, but I want to confess that I regret all this negativity. So this is the important thing that we have to say to the Buddhas. This is why we're asking for them to pay attention to us. They say that if we generate regret for negativity, this reduces the amount or the seriousness of negativity. And we have to understand that this includes any type of negativity we have done, whether it is specifically mentioned in the list or not mentioned in the list. As we say, the initial paragraph refers to any negativity I have done in general. And then we go into some cases, enumerating some cases of really grave negative actions. Okay, so we have come up to the point where saying, having made others to engage or rejoicing in them being engaged. The next phrase says, myself and other beings having been obscured by any of these karmic obscurations. So it starts to talk about here about the result of these negativities. What would be the results of these negativities if they are not properly confessed and purified? So it says, myself and other sentient beings having been obscured by any of these karmic obscurations, we proceed to the hells. Proceed to the hells means we go to the hells. We proceed to the birthplaces of animals, or proceed to the birthplaces of hungry ghosts, or are born in border regions, or born as barbarians. Now, in some variations of the text, born in border regions and barbarians are grouped together. But in this particular version or edition of the text, they are separated. Born in a border region means you're not born in a central region where the teachings are easily accessible. And that means that you will be deprived of the opportunity to abandon negativity and practice virtue. Being born as a barbarian means you will not have any confidence or any faith in the law of cause and effect, past and future lives, and so forth. Being born as a long life God, many people initially, when they hear about such type of rebirth, they think that it is good to take rebirth there. However, this type of existence is an existence that is characterized by lack of awareness. It's like you have a very long life, but it is like you're comatose, and therefore there is no opportunity to listen to the Dharma or to engage, practice the Dharma. So as you can see, for example, in the Lamrim, when we have the presentation of the 10 freedoms and the 10 endowments, we talk about freedom from oppressive situations. Some of them have to do with human rebirth, and some have to do with non-human rebirth. So if you're familiar with this presentation, you will recognize here some of the items mentioned in the list. So in the Lamrim presentation, we have 4 situations pertaining to humans that are unfortunate. They don't give you the freedom to practice Dharma, and 4 types of rebirth pertaining to non-humans that again do not give you the freedom to practice Dharma. So we have mention of those, like the hungry ghosts or the animals, the long life gods, the being born in the hills, and so forth. These are the 4 that are types of rebirth, non-human rebirth, that do not give you the freedom to practice. The next one is coming to have incomplete faculties. Incomplete faculties here does not refer to, let's say, having weak vision or not being able to hear very well. This might be some problems with your senses and your faculties, but the text here refers to severe impediment, so that to the point that your senses or your faculties, excuse me, are malfunctioning so that you cannot practice Dharma. Coming to have the wrong views, meaning not believing in the law of cause and effect, not believing in past and future lives. If you do not believe in these things, you will not practice Dharma. You have no reason to practice Dharma. The next one is not delighting in the coming of the Buddha. This can refer to a number of situations. For example, to be born at a time or a place where the Buddha has not come, or to be born in an area where the Buddhist teachings have not spread. Or even if you're born at the time and a place where the Buddha is there, you could be living next to the Buddha. But if you don't have faith and if you don't have interest in the Buddhist teachings, then again, you will not engage the teachings. So Rinpoche was referring to the cat, Billy, who is coming very often to the center. So on one hand, you see that the cat has access to the Dhamma Center. And the Dhamma Center is a place that gives everyone great opportunity to listen to the Dharma, participate in recitation of prayers, listen to the teachings, explanations of the teachings, practices, commentaries, and so forth. However, although the cat comes to a place where all those things are freely and abundantly available, it has a type of rebirth that does not allow it to access any of this. And when we look at this example, this should be a reminder. We have negativities and obscurations, and if we don't properly purify them, there is every chance that we will come back in this type of rebirth. And when we have this type of rebirth, we do not have the opportunity to purify negativity. We do not have the opportunity to practice virtue, right? So think, if I don't purify my negativity, I will be reborn as Billy the cat. So it says, in the presence of the Buddha Bhagavans, who are pristine wisdom, who are the eyes, who are the witnesses, who are valid, who are wise, who see, I acknowledge and reveal all these karmic obscurations. I do not conceal them and do not hide them. And from now on, I will abstain and refrain. So all these karmic obscurations that we have created through our negative actions, we completely confess in the presence of the Buddha. So remember that in front of us we have the 35 Buddhas that we have actually visualized, but also we understand that we are addressing all the Buddhas that exist in the 10 directions. So as it says here, all you Buddhas and Bhagavans who are pristine wisdom, pristine, each one of these, anyway, we have to say that each one of these words in the commentaries to the 35 Buddhas is given a special explanation because it has special significance. But in brief, we're going to explain these words. So when you say, in the presence of the Buddhas, in the presence because they are in front of you, of Buddha Bhagavans, who are the pristine wisdom. They are the pristine wisdom, meaning they know, they see everything. They know what you have done, right? Who are the eyes. When we say they are the eyes, it means they see very clearly. Like when we do a particular job and we have, of course, our eyes are open, we see what is in front of us. So similarly, those Buddhas, they are the eyes who see, who have seen what we have done. Who are the witnesses? Because they have seen, they have witnessed everything positive and everything negative we have done. They know everything. Who are valid. They are valid because their presentation of what is to be practiced, what is to be abandoned, the method of purification, the method of establishing virtue, and so forth, is completely without error. And therefore, their teachings are valid and they are valid. Who are wise, they are, and who see, they are wise, they see, they understand, they have seen everything that we have done, right? So in other words, you say, in the presence of all the Buddhas who have witnessed, who know, absolutely know everything that I have done, I acknowledge and reveal all these karmic obscurations. So, as we say, the whole point here is that we generate regret and we openly confess whatever negativity we have done. This action of regretting the negativity is very important. It has a minimizing effect. Even these days in the court, if you show regret for a crime you have committed, usually the judge will consider this favorably and will give you a reduced sentence. If you do not show any regret for negativity, then this is always working against you. So it says, I will acknowledge and reveal all these karmic obscurations, just in the same way that you split wood and you open up the two parts to actually show, to reveal what is at the heart of the wood. In the same way, you open up yourself because you confess all this negativity, right? I will not conceal them. I will not try to fool you, lead you astray, somehow making the situation as if I didn't do those things. I was not involved in these things. I will not hide them in the same way that we hide an object under the ground so that no one can see it, right? So this is the full exposure, if you want, of all our negativity, because it's very important that we regret it. Okay, and so up to here, we have the power of repudiation, which is regretting the negative action. And then the next sentence says, and from now on, I will abstain and restrain. So now that I have confessed all this and I have a clear slate, from now on in the future, I will not repeat this action. So this is the next power, which is the power of restraint, of not doing it in the future. So Rinpoche was saying, look, today is Wednesday. You have come here after work, tired, and you come here and you, for an hour and a half, all you hear about is negativities and obscurations, and it's all so heavy. So Rinpoche says, hopefully I didn't tire you too much. The other thing is that up to now, Rinpoche has been trying to go as quickly as possible, and therefore he didn't give opportunity for questions and answers. But from now on, in the remaining sessions, we will be a bit more relaxed because we have made enough progress. So we will have time for questions and answers at the end. And Rinpoche says, I promise you from now on, it's going to be very pleasant talking.